Hi, everyone. So I have Erin on with me today for our first SCOLIO-FIT-SQUAD Spotlight. So Erin joined the Scolio Fitness membership as a founding member. I think now it's 8-9 months ago. And so I wanted to invite her on to share a bit about her scoliosis journey, her story, and so that others can also recognize what she's done, that whatever she's done, it's also something you can also do. So Erin, thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you. Yeah, and so when we first spoke, I know that you mentioned about a year or so before that, you were starting to notice that your curve increased a little bit, and then you were feeling more limited and kind of experiencing pain. So I guess where were you and your health and scoliosis when you first reached out?
Yeah, honestly, most of my life I'd ignored my scoliosis. I was told as a teenager, like many was found, by just a school check. And then I was braced until the end, until I was done growing. And that was the end of it. I didn't think anything of it. And I was really active. I played sports. I was outside all the time. I rode horses. I traveled a lot. And maybe once in a while I would think of it, but it was never caused me pain. I had children, got married, had children, and I still didn't think anything of it. And I did a lot of exercises that in hindsight were probably detrimental to my curve. But yeah, I just kind of continued on with life. So then as I got into my early 40s, I started having pain. And at first it was kind of a nagging pain and it could be managed, but I still didn't do anything about it. And then it got to the pain that causes, I always say, fear. So I started becoming afraid of the pain. I didn't really know what was going on. Who do you go see? Do you go to a doctor? Do you do this? And I didn't really know much about my own curves. I knew I had an S curve. I knew approximately what the curve degrees were when I was younger. So yeah, I finally went and had an X-ray and just had a random doctor that I'd never seen before tell me what the degrees were. And they had increased by a decent amount. Yeah, and that was pretty much all that was told to me. There was no other options. It was, when the pain gets bad enough, let us know and we'll do surgery. So then that was even more scary because you kind of felt like you were out here in this universe by yourself. Scoliosis, but yeah, so I was in pain. The pain got worse. It was a scary pain and got to the point where I couldn't exercise anymore, what I was normally doing. I couldn't really go for a walk very far. My husband and I would go for a walk and I would have to turn around, say I can't go anymore, turn around and come back. I was sitting on heating pads, the pain strips, the icy hots, Tylenol, trying not to take too much of that, you name it, but I wasn't really doing anything because I felt immobilized by fear and pain. I didn't really know where to go. So, yeah, I just finally decided that I needed to start doing research. Either you have the surgery or you, start figuring out other alternatives. So I did. And yeah, on my journey, I found ScolioFit, and it was a huge game changer for me because it was a community. So there was other people who either had surgery and are still having pain, or or hadn't had surgery like myself. So everybody had a little bit of different experience with the same ailment, really, right? And it was, something I could do that I knew was safe, because you've had scoliosis yourself and you talked about each curve, whether left lumbar, right thoracic for mine. So I could actually use that. And it was, for me is what it was personalized every exercise. And if I didn't feel it was safe, you offered alternatives. And I just, yeah, I got stronger and I felt better. And with that too, like that mental fear of the pain started to subside over time. And I can do a little bit at a time. And, you know, when you start to feel stronger, then, okay, I can do like a little bit more. I could walk a little bit further, which then helps you do, you know, like a longer yoga session, and just makes you feel better mentally when you can be outside, especially because that was important to me. Yeah, it helps with everything. So instead of kind of being stuck in this, like, what do I do? So I felt like I was doing something for it finally. And the pain, like I still did like my long hot baths. I still do like my heating pad. It's not that I don't do that, but I just do it in conjunction with, not because, you know, I'm sitting there trying to ward off, you know, pinching, nagging, you know, stabbing pain. I don't have the pain anymore at all. Yeah. And my yoga, like I've been able to do more, and I've been able to find my limitations too with our yoga classes. Like we were saying, some of the hip things, exercises are hard for me. And so I couldn't do as much at first, but I've stuck with it, and it's, yeah, I can do more. So.
Awesome. Amazing. I love hearing about just kind of that shift that you had, that transformation of being, I mean, the pain, the fear-based, just kind of feeling super like limited, right? And I guess like, is that the moment that you knew things had to change was because knowing like it's either you do something different or it's surgery, right? So kind of testing, going from there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was one or the, you know, I mean, maybe not right away surgery, but over, you know, time, like what, to sit there and do, like I said, I'm active, and I've just not wanted to do that if I don't have to. I'm not saying it'll never be, and for some people they have to, but even if I did, if it ended up that I had to have this, I wanted to be stronger going into it, you know, like, so if it comes down to, like, I'd rather know too that I've tried everything, you know, and as long as it was safe. And that's where I felt really good too about ScolioFit, because I felt like it was safe. Like I knew I couldn't do Zumba anymore. I knew I couldn't do like the crazy hit classes at the gym. That was out of the question, because that would have been really painful, and maybe dangerous, or increasing, you know, my curve. But yeah, and part of me too at this point actually wants to go get another x-ray to see if I, you know, and that's not the most important thing to me, honestly, but I just feel so much better that I'm like, and it wouldn't be devastating, but I'm like, I wonder if, you know, I'm back a little bit like to where I started, because I was so hard on my body just with not acknowledging my scoliosis, like the stuff, the twisting and carrying my kids when they were little on my concave side. Oh my God, like all the things, right? Hindsight's 2020. But yeah, I would actually welcome like an x-ray at this point. I don't need it for any kind of, but I just always wonder, because I do feel so good. Yeah, I feel better than I have actually. I didn't even realize like years before, you know, like the rotation and stuff that I was feeling, because I just kind of, you know, whatever, go to bed and wake up and I'll feel a little bit better. But yeah, I feel much better now that I realize all the stuff that I was doing. I'm like, wow, there's ways to take care of your back and your scoliosis. Yeah. So I felt like there was no choice. I didn't want to sit like in fear and not doing anything. And I have kids too. So, and my oldest daughter, who's 12, was diagnosed. So that was a motivating factor as well. My youngest one isn't diagnosable yet because the degree is so small, but she is young. So she's on and we're watching. Mm-hmm.
Amazing. Yeah, it's really nice to see you talk about it right now, because I remember our first Zoom, it was a lot of that kind of like fear. You were just like, is this going to work for me? Like, I'm really scared of, I know like your neck pain, you know, you're kind of afraid of anything that had to do with your neck or any twisting. And you did come, I mean, and it's totally fair, right? Because you read so many things online and you're like, do I know this is going to work? So it's so nice to see you kind of light up right now and just you seem so much more energized with just kind of explaining the things that you are able to do. And it's that, like you said, the feeling stronger, not just physically, but then also like mentally and emotionally with it too.
Yeah, that's a huge part of it, was the mental and emotional, part of it. And the, even if you can just do, I found like a couple exercises, even though they weren't for me what I thought of in the past as going to like an exercise class, and sweating and doing all that. I found it like it made a difference at the time too. And then I was able to build back up, into challenging myself just in different ways. But it's pretty amazing because I've actually feel better. Like I said, I feel better than I did even before I had the pain, because now I'm using my body, I think, in a safe way. So mentally, that just, it's a huge game changer for sure, especially to be able to go out and do stuff and know that I have tools, that I know how to breathe now when I'm working, if I work for a long shift, when I'm on a hike, if I go away for the weekend and I'm at a friend's, I don't have to wait to get back to a gym to make my back feel better, and I don't have to worry about it. So, yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. So you're not really depending on anyone or anything, right? It's more just you have the tools. You're like that you're empowered to kind of be able to take care of yourself.
Yeah. It's too, because you've shown us all the things to, if I bring a strap along, or you don't even have to, I can use socks, for my rotation, and I can use a throw pillow, to sit on for my block if I need to prop myself up a little bit. And honestly, I mostly use my breath and just my body. If there's a railing in the house or on the deck, I can stretch my back out and use it for balance. Like it's pretty amazing that you can take such good care of your back and still get a workout with really with not, very little or nothing, if you have nothing with you.
Yeah. I know, I love that. I think like at the first couple sessions, we're like, socks? Why do we need pairs of socks? But yeah, and then I'm like, yeah, get a belt if you don't have a strap. It's you don't have to. I think sometimes people feel limited if they don't have the equipment, right? It's like, well, I don't have the bars, or I don't have this. But it's like, you don't have to have, like, it's like, that's just another, we don't have to have more barriers in the way. It's just, you're going to be, you have you're living with your scoliosis 24/7. So how are you going to figure this out? Like we can't just depend on, it's not that hour at physical therapy or at the gym, right? It's just kind of what you're doing all the time.
Yeah. And that really shone through as well for me when you went over the sleeping positions and stuff like that, because of the pain, and because I was maybe always laying on like my convex side, right? Like the hillside, I was getting more pain. I was tossing and turning. And so when you went over that was, and while it takes a little bit of practice and getting used to, because I was a side sleeper, I knew that wasn't working for me anymore. So I was really excited when you went over sleeping and, different ways to lay in bed and stay comfortable and still take care of your back. That made a big difference, because you don't think of it. You just think, you go to sleep and you toss and turn. There's no way. But now, I didn't need to buy a fancy mattress or anything like that. It wouldn't have helped, right? It was just my positioning.
Yeah. And I love it. I love that you mentioned it's like a pillow fort that you build. Everywhere we're hugging one.
yeah, I do. And luckily we already have like a lot of pillows, but it's, now I have my little system and I set everything up and it's there, and it's awesome. It is 24/7. It's just a way to take care of it like day to day all the time. It's just, changing so you can take care of your back. And then once you get used to it, it kind of becomes second nature, for stuff like that, like the sleeping and, breathing and posture.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's exactly what I want people to feel like. That is just second nature, and it doesn't have to be a chore. Like, it's kind of fun, right? It's kind of like, oh, I'm sitting at my desk, now I know how I can like lengthen my spine, or when I walk through a doorway, how am I going to open up my ribs, or kind of so just kind of fun things, which is what I love about the community and how involved you are with sharing how it's worked for you too, because it's helping others in the membership also see that it's easy to incorporate as well.
Mhm. Yeah, I find it honestly really easy. Like I said, I've incorporated it at work. We have, you know, spot where I can do, especially like the little scolio snacks, I think you call them, right? Where we just have like the little tidbits. It's easy to do for 10 minutes, and it pays off time within it. And I can do it too when I get home. I don't have to go, into a certain room to do it. I can do it in front of the TV, or if I'm listening to music. I can do, the simple ones you've shown us, like laying on the ground or before bed or waking up. It's, yeah, little things throughout the day. It's easy to do. I still do enjoy the hour-long Sunday sessions and stuff, but it's, it doesn't, I don't always have to carve out an hour, to be able to feel good.
Yeah, that's great. And I know you mentioned that you're not going to like the HIIT classes at the gym and stuff anymore, but you did say you love the cardio. So I think a lot of times people think it's just the physical therapy exercises or it's just the yoga, but you can do all the other things too, right? So we do like the circuit training and we do the cardio, get our heart rate up without hurting ourselves.
Yeah, well. I love the cardio. I love the cardio, and because and like I said too, because you guide us through it and give us reminders through it, even though it might be, if you want to compare it to like a full-on HIIT class, it might be simple, but again, I get a better overall workout and I feel better. Like I feel like I've worked on my core, like I said, instead of just my legs compensating and being so sore because, they're taking the brunt of everything for my back, but I feel like I've gotten a better full body workout than when I was just flying through stuff trying to sweat. I do like the cardio, and it's neat to see what we've learned otherwise incorporated into just speeding up, but still using your brain to make sure you're doing everything right. Yeah. And that's when I feel it the most, not when I'm wandering, but you help keep us on track through it. And my heart rate's up, I'm focusing, and I'm taking care of my back and trying to work on my curves. It's pretty, it's good what you can get done in an hour, right? Or even shorter sometimes.
Yeah. Well, those ones always get me out of breath because I'm like talking through every cue and trying to do the exercises with you guys. Yeah. But I love them though. It's always nice to, I think the whole thing too is just when people are like, well, I think a big question that always comes up is like, what shouldn't I do? When it's like, well, there's nothing that you shouldn't do. It's more just like how to do it for yourself, right? Like for your body.
Yeah, I think that too, because the pain and stuff in the beginning, I was a little bit unsure and a little bit maybe tentative, like for my own, but because you give different variations of everything, I never felt, and you always say, like check in with yourself, like if you feel like you can't do it, or I was able to start where I was comfortable and build pretty quick, like even if I had to try it and then back off, like I always felt like there was still an option, like I wasn't just sitting there because I didn't feel like I couldn't partake, it was, there was always something that I could do as far as the exercises go.
Okay. Awesome. And where would, I guess, as you were saying, you're kind of like building up. So where are you with everything today on your like health journey? Your scoliosis?
I'm back to work full time, which is like crazy. If you would have asked me that, last year or a year and a half ago, I'd have been like, no way, because I was spending most of my time on a heating pad and worried, and that was consuming also my thoughts, right, and my focus. But we go on hikes. In fact, we're going on a hike tomorrow, and hopefully the weather's nice. So we're going to go on a light, long, probably a couple hour hike and to a new trail. So I'm excited about that. I do dog sports, so I'm back to training my dog. And I do I love going through the videos and finding my favorite ones during the week, sometimes ones that I can do at work. I like the Sunday, workouts, even if I can't be there. I love the replay. And then my oldest daughter will do them with me sometimes. And when we've done the Zoom, she's popped in. She loves that there's people of different ages, right? So it's not just her old mom who has scoliosis. And she's aware too that other people have it, but it's really nice to have a community because it's all different kinds of people, from different places. And that's pretty cool for her. So I've also been able to, at this point, incorporate her to it and my younger daughter. But my older daughter is much more interested, and I've really tried to make it a positive, right? So instead of projecting any kind of fear or anything, we're going hiking and she comes with, and we do a few exercises in the morning while the news is on after I had coffee, and she likes finding out that there's people from Europe who have scoliosis and are doing the same exercises, yeah. And when everything opens back up, we are going to travel, and I don't feel like I have to worry about how long we're going to walk or how long the plane ride is, because I have exercises from ScolioFit that you've given us that I can do, like seated cat cows, right? So I don't have to stress about like everyday life things. Honestly, at this point, it's just kind of become ingrained in my everyday routine, and I don't have to think about it much anymore, and I feel really good. So it's kind of become, just a habit. We do our exercises, scolio exercises every day and in the house. And even my husband has joined in on yoga a few times, and he does not have scoliosis, but it's good for everybody, right? So yeah.
We'll have to take a photo or a little time lapse of you guys all doing it together.
I should. Yeah, I should. Yeah. And it's interesting because everybody's at a different place, even in our household, right? Somebody who, like my husband, who doesn't have scoliosis, and he's a big workout buff. And he does everything bilaterally, he does everything on both sides. And my youngest daughter just does what she can. Because she's 9 and she doesn't have the attention span. She does what she can for, I ask her to focus for as long as she can. And my older daughter's the go-getter, and she wants to know lots of stuff about it. And she's usually right there with me. She can probably surpass me in endurance and some of the exercises at this point, but she's learned, honestly, it's helped because I have the community. I feel like it's helped her learn too about her back, where I didn't get that. It's not just me like telling her, right? It's a community of different people with different curves and different stories. And so it's not just me kind of saying, you have to do this. It's trying to make it something positive.
Yeah. It's always different, right? When you were like your doctor or your mom says like, you have to do this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always different. Yeah. Yeah, it is different. It's different too, like when it's a community of like-minded people, it's and that just makes a huge difference. Like I said, I was at the gym, I always knew I had scoliosis. I wasn't focusing on it, but I was like, oh my gosh, I can't do that. I can't do that. Not that mattered, but there was nobody I could, that was in kind of the same situation that I knew of, right? So it's nice that, there's people that ask questions about their curves or this or that thing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, that's a great question, during our workout, because I hadn't thought of that. And we're all kind of in the same boat, just maybe different stages.
Yeah. I know sometimes it's the whole asking the questions, whatever is most personal is actually most general, right? So the same way how you felt you wish you had the community when you were growing up, like I wish I did too. And I feel like so many other people also feel that way, but for us, we're like, oh, it was such a personal thing because we didn't know anyone else with scoliosis, right?
Yeah. So. No, I didn't. I didn't know anybody. I knew the only person that talked about it was my parents and my doctor, right? Like there wasn't, it just wasn't talked about, which part of me is grateful for, because not that it wasn't talked about, but there was never a negative light shown on it. It just was what it was. And I went on living my life. I do wish I would have taken better care of my back, but I'm starting now and there's nothing I can do. And I feel good now. So we'll see where it takes me. Just try to stay, now that it's part of my life, I feel like if I can keep this going right now, I feel great. We'll see. Yeah, where it goes.
Yeah. And definitely give your, like, I would encourage you to also like thank yourself, right? To hop on this journey. I think a lot of people are in similar positions, right? We're like looking for all the ways to kind of work on your scoliosis, but then you're kind of like, your limiting beliefs kind of hold you back. Like, can I do this? Is it going to work or whatever? But you took that leap of faith and you did it for yourself. And that's why you're committed to yourself. And you're also seeing like the ripple effect of what you're doing, like on your daughters. And that's going to make such a huge difference for them in the long run. And just now being able to do all these things with your family again, and be active together and healthy together with all of it. It's so nice to hear about, because that's the stuff. It's not just our scoliosis that we dwell on, right? It's like everything else in our life, and seeing everyone pursue all the stuff, going back to work, spending time with your family. So
yeah, it definitely is a ripple effect, because you don't think of it at the time, but the fear and the pain and the unknowing, and if not even, before you kind of take that step, that's the worst part of it. But it's like having the community honestly made it so much easier, because it was kind of like that support. Even in the beginning, if it was a little tentative and you didn't really know what to say, it was that it helped you take that step. It was somewhere to kind of go, and a step, like a direction to take to go in, and to have people there and can ask questions, and it's made it easier, to be honest. And it kind of gave like a platform, because then you open it up too to like meditation. So I know that some days when I can go to like one of the meditation videos if I just need to, have some peace or think on some things. And it's all of it, the whole thing honestly has helped. Everything, like even down to we were talking the toes.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's a huge ripple effect, because you think, something like that wouldn't matter, but it's, everything. It was just taking, and it leaks over into all parts of your life, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I know. I love that you enjoy the feet and the toe stuff, because sometimes people just focus on, scoliosis in my back, I just got to work my back, when it's like, no, you have to do your whole body. But then that's the whole point of it too. It's not just your physical body, it's your emotional body. That's why I think the meditations and, it's like all of it will kind of come together. And of course, like the way we feel emotionally might be because, our scoliosis might make us feel a certain way, but it's also how we feel might impact the way our physical symptoms will kind of present themselves.
Oh yeah, I think, for sure. That was, and then because I'm not at the time, because I was having pain and I was nervous, then I'm not eating as well. And then you're not moving as much, right? So then it just, everything kind of impacts the other thing. And then I've always liked meditation and yoga, but I wasn't doing even any of my old stuff because I wasn't really sure where to go or how to do it. And then it just kind of became this, cyclical effect where you're stuck in this round robin. The mental side, it all, like I said, it all makes a difference, because it's then I start eating better because I'm moving more and I feel better. And, and especially when that comes to for me, when it came to my back, that made a huge difference, and my neck was really involved in my pain for some reason. I don't have a curve in my neck, but whatever was compensating, and just, I didn't even really have to focus on my neck with your exercises. I focused on everything else that you gave us. And honestly, that it wasn't, it was weird because I had pain in my neck, but it wasn't just about the pain in my neck. Doing everything else, the pain in my neck went away, right? So it's not like I had to do neck exercises. The stuff that you gave us to do, and now I still take care of my neck and I do the stretches and everything that you gave us, but just with everything, the regular yoga sessions that we do with you, it's never come back.
That's so wonderful to hear, because I know that was a big concern for you before. So
Yeah, and the neck is it's a scary place. It is a scary place to have pain, right, in your neck. But yeah, just posture, I think, right, and not having my forward head so much, and your little reminders like the ears over the shoulders and the next, yeah, and the rotation and all that, and which honestly, like even sometimes I try to focus on like which hip is forward a little bit, and I'm sure all the way up that made a difference. Um, and with doing all that, the neck pain dissipated to the point where I don't have it anymore. I couldn't have told you the day it happened, but right, it's like I said, with all that went away, kind of those like those ruminating thoughts about obviously you want to pay attention. I wanted to pay attention to pain, but I didn't worry about it. I just tried to focus on the exercises and feeling better.
mhm.
Yeah.
That makes me so happy to hear. Love that. And we're going to definitely have everyone kind of celebrate that with you, because it's a huge win for sure.
Yeah. Thank you. Well,
Perfect.
thank you. Yeah. I appreciate your help and guidance, honestly, and positivity and the whole group and the support. Makes such a huge difference. It really does.
Good. I'm glad. No, this
And
is
accountability. It keeps me accountable.
yes, a lot of accountability. I know I need it for myself too. So we're all kind of keeping each other accountable, and helping each other like along the way, and also just, celebrating the wins, but also if we're having a hard day, it's okay to kind of take a step back. And it's also just feeling it, embracing it, processing it, and then kind of picking yourself up again. Right. So kind of going through all the stages together, which has been really nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
So if someone were to ask you if they should be joining Scolio Fitness, what would you say?
I would say without a doubt, there's the benefits to it are more than just the fitness side of it. Those are amazing, but like I said, the community, the things that you learn, even about your spine, your back, your hips, the knowledge that you've given us about how everything affects one thing or another along the way, has been amazing, from sleep to nutrition. I would say, just start. Honestly, if you just start and you go, there's people that keep you accountable. There's, like you said, there's support for the good days that you can ask questions, and the bad days too, right? It's a whole community that makes such a difference. It's easy. It's really, it's easy to go on. It's convenient. Like, you give realistic exercises that you can do anytime. It's been a game changer for my everyday life, and for like my overall fitness as well. Like, I feel really good, and I feel like I get good workouts and still be able to work on my back at the same time, my curves. Yeah.
Fantastic to hear. Thank you so much for sharing your story. You're such an inspiration. Your dedication to yourself, to your health, and everything has definitely gotten you to this point. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's okay. I appreciate all your help. Honestly, I think what you've started is awesome. It's really good. It makes it's just been great. The community, everything. I really appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for being one of the founding members. I love hearing the founding members stories and everything too, because you guys trusted this from the beginning, and you're just in it, and you're the most dedicated ones through the whole program. So
awesome. Yeah, I love it. I love going on, even when I miss him at work. I honestly think I'll look at my phone and I'm like, oh, I missed it today because I was driving to work or something, and I'm like, okay, when can I get it in? I think I can get it in tomorrow morning. Right. Yeah. So even when I miss them, I'm thinking about it, and it's convenient that I can pop on and do it. The recordings are there. I love it. It's just, yeah, I actually look forward to it. I've always liked the gym, but I've never looked forward to going or to making the time. And I really look forward to it now. And I feel better. I can feel the difference too. Right. Especially if I do, miss a day, like a couple days, I do notice a difference. It doesn't happen very often, but I just noticed a different, like, in my overall feeling, right? Like I love to do it because it does become such a habit. So when I don't get to do it, throws me off a little bit.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, especially because it's part of your routine now, right? So it's just kind of, it's
Yeah.
like, you kind of have to, it's like,
Yeah,
it's like
that's
drinking
the
water.
thing. I'm like, oh, yeah, what's happening?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I so
Yeah.
appreciate your time and
Yeah.
being in the community and being such a big part of it as well. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Mhm.
Enjoy your nice warm weather. It's freezing here.
Oh yeah, hope you stay warm.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Viv. All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.